Welcome to Leavenworth National Fish Hatchery. I'm here to take you on a tour so you can see and hear what it's like at the hatchery in November. We're going to start in the nursery. We raise spring Chinook salmon at this hatchery, and the eggs are in the nursery now. Yakima Nation Fisheries also raises coho salmon, and the eggs for their salmon are in the nursery too. So we have two kinds of eggs in the nursery now. I'm going to show you a video clip of what it's like in there, and I want you to look carefully and listen carefully and think about what's happening. Are you ready to go? So what did you see and hear? What do you think is happening? Take a little time and write down your notes about what you saw, or you can talk to another person about what you noticed. So you can pause the video here to do that. Okay, now I'm going to play that video clip again, and this time I'm going to tell you what I see and what I hear and what it means to me. We're looking at the special trays that hold the salmon eggs. The trays are stacked one on top of the other, and water runs down through them. It's dark in here, and it's cold too. That's because sunlight is bad for salmon eggs, and they like it to be cold. All these tanks hold the fish once they've hatched and are big enough to start eating. They're empty right now. Most of the tall windows are shuttered because winter is getting started. The shutters keep the snow from breaking the glass. How many of your observations matched what I told you? Go back through your notes and circle the things that you wrote down that I talked about, and underline the things you noticed that I didn't talk about. So you can pause the video here to do that. Now I'll show you another video clip. This was also taken in the nursery, but behind the egg trays. Look carefully and listen. Think about what's happening. What did you see and hear? Take a moment to write your notes down about what you saw and what you heard, or you can talk to another person about what you noticed. Go ahead and pause the video, and we'll be back soon. Now let's watch again together. We're looking at a noisy machine that cools the water that comes to the fish. We call it the chiller. Did you notice the numbers on the display? That shows temperature. We keep the water at around 40 degrees Fahrenheit right now, so the eggs develop very slowly. We have to be sure enough water is getting pumped in to supply plenty of oxygen to the eggs in the trays, because eggs need oxygen while the fish develop. We use our cleanest water, which comes from wells, so the eggs are as safe as possible. But our well water is too warm, so we have to chill it with this machine. What do these numbers mean? This dial shows how many gallons per minute, that's GPM, are flowing through the chiller. How many of your observations matched what I talked about? Go back through your notes, circle the things that you wrote down that I mentioned, and underline the things that you noticed and I didn't talk about. Pause the video here to do that. Now let's go outside. We're going to visit the eggs from last year, which have grown into fish the size of hot dogs. They live in raceways. I want you to watch the video and think about why they're called raceways and not ponds. What did you see and hear? Take a moment to write down your notes or to talk to someone about what you noticed. So why do you think these are called raceways? They are long and thin and rectangular. A pond is round or oval. The raceways are covered with screens to keep out predators. Under the big red roof, we have more raceways that are longer and wider than the ones we've been looking at that are close to us. The roof keeps off snow in winter and gives the fish shade in summer. Fencing and nets keep out predators. Can you say out loud some of the predators you think might want to eat our fish? Each raceway is separated from the others, so if fish in one raceway get sick, we can keep the sickness from spreading to the others. Water comes in at one end of the raceway and flows down to the other end. Can you hear the running water? What color are the young fish? Did you see the patterns on their skin? When fish are young like these, They often have camouflage colors. That means they make themselves harder to see. They blend in with their background. How many of your observations matched what I told you? Go back through your notes and circle the things that I talked about. Underline the things you noticed that I didn't talk about. Let's go visit Icicle Creek. Icicle Creek is where some of the water we use at the hatchery comes from. It's also where we release all the fish in spring so they can go all the way out to the ocean and then come back to us when they get bigger. We'll take a walk down by Icicle Creek and have a look at what the river is like now. What did you see and hear? What do you think is happening? Take a moment to write down your observations, the things you noticed, or talk to another person about it. Pause the video here. Let's watch again together. We're standing on a bridge. It's a beautiful sunny fall day, and many leaves have changed from green to yellow or red or brown. The water in the river comes all the way up into the bushes and the grass, which tells me the water level is high. That means we had some rain, or maybe some snow that's now melting. There's frost on the grass, so today is also cold. The hillside is covered in pine trees. That tells me this is a dry place. The only place you see trees and bushes that lose their leaves is beside the river. We call the sides of the river the riparian zone. How many of your observations matched what I talked about? Go back through your notes and circle the things that I talked about and underline the things you noticed that I didn't mention. And finally, if we walk to the other end of this bridge, there's something in the water I want you to see. What did you see in the water? Did you spot the fish? These are coho salmon that have spawned in Icicle Creek. That means they've laid their eggs. You can tell these fish are getting near the end of their lives. The white patches on their skin is an infection. Once the salmon come back into fresh water, they stop healing from injuries or illness, putting all their energy into getting to their spawning grounds and laying and fertilizing eggs. All Pacific salmon die after spawning. As long as they're alive, they keep pointing upstream and swimming into the current. Now that you've had a chance to take a tour of Leavenworth National Fish Hatchery as it looks in November, do you have any questions that I didn't answer? If you'd like to get those questions answered, you can email us or you can send us a letter. An adult can help you with this. Before I put that information up on the screen, I want to say goodbye to you and thank you for watching.